25 laps of distance. John Cornell, Steve Stoltz, your front row. Green flag is in the air. It's time to let her eat at Arizona Speedway. And Cornell and Stoltz still continue to go side by side off of turn number 2. A little contact between Cornell and Steve Stoltz. Stoltz car gets a little loosey-goosey going into turn number 3 while Brad Williams and Bruce Duckett throw up to his bumper. Will be John Cornell leading lap number 1. Some damage on the right side of John Cornell's car with the contact made with the 78 machine of Steve Stoltz. Brad Williams looks to the inside of Bruce Duckett. Now is going to the inside of Steve Stoltz as well. Can't do anything with Stoltz off of turn number 2. Stoltz pulls away by about 2 car lengths for second. John Cornell, the man out front, has about a 7 car length advantage over Steve Stoltz as they race off at turn number 4. He'll lead lap number 2, followed by Stoltz, Williams, Duckett. Then it's going to be James Lang. Last night's maiden winner, Craig Parker in the 48, trying to race his way into the top 5. Can't quite do anything there as him and James Webster make contact off of turn 2. Continue down the back straightaway. James Webster all over the back bumper of the 48 machine of Craig Parker. Now Webster's going to use the high side of the racetrack. Parker's going to cut off his momentum off of turn number 4 down the front stretch. Brad Williams still trying to work his way to the inside of Bruce Duckett for that 3rd spot. Williams now going to fall off the base just a little bit as James Webster with a big slide job on Craig Parker makes it stick off of turn number 2. Craig Parker fighting back on the inside of Webster. Webster going to hang on to that spot. So James Webster in the 6th position trying to reel in the 89 machine of James Lang. Craig Parker once again tries to get back to the inside of Webster. Webster now pulling away by about 4 car lengths down the backstretch. John Cornell still the man out front over Steve Stoltz. Has about a 10 car length advantage just John Cornell. Steve Stoltz drives that thing all up to the top of the racetrack. That's Bruce Duckett with him. Brad Williams back in the 4th spot. 5th is the 89 machine of James Lang, but here comes the 5AZ of Webster. James Webster using the top side of the racetrack. So far, he's the only driver that has found something up there. Steve Stoltz, Bruce Duckett, they both run up there, but they are not making passes like James Webster in the 5AZ is. James Webster off at turn number 2. James Lane's going to come off his momentum. That slows down Webster just a bit. Webster, though, going to assault the top side of the racetrack once more in turn number 3. Off at turn number 4, trying to work his way around the 89 machine as Webster appears to be off the pace down the front straightaway. Something definitely amiss on the 5AZ of Webster. Craig Parker gets by him. Webster back down to the bottom of the racetrack trying to figure out what's wrong with his car. John Cornell, the man out front, right around the bottom side of the racetrack. Steve Stoltz, he is starting to reel him in there as the 5AZ of Webster takes his car off the racetrack. Out front, Steve Stoltz, Bruce Duckett using the top side of the racetrack, trying to reel in the number 28 machine of John Cornell and get around him. Cornell continues to show the way here. 16 laps all left in tonight's 25-lap main event. And right now, Steve Stoltz starting to stock his prey, and his prey being that 28 machine of John Cornell. Brad Williams just went to the top side of the race behind Bruce Duckett. See if he can't find some speed up there, as it's John Cornell, the only driver now on the bottom side of the racetrack. And it looks like that top groove is working for Steve Stoltz and company. As they race their way through turns 1 and 2, once again, it's still Cornell down low, Steve Stoltz, Bruce Duckett, Brad Williams up top, Craig Parker trying to get around James Lane on the bottom side of the racetrack. Lane going to pull up side by side with him off of turn number 2. They're going to drag race down the back straightaway there for a brief moment, but here comes Craig Parker trying to clear the 89 machine of Lane off of 4. Can he do it? Nope, not quite yet. James Lane fights right back for that 5th position. The 5AZ of James Webster has come back on the racetrack, a few laps down though. John Cornell, Steve Stoltz continue to be the top 2. Brad Williams just closed right up to the back bumper of the 22B of Bruce Duckett. Thought he was going to peek his nose down underneath the 22B. He didn't quite do it off of turn number 4. We'll see what he does off of turn 2, as it's still Bruce Duckett showing the way in that 3rd spot. But here comes some lap traffic right in the way of your race leader, John Cornell. Steve Stoltz still on the top side, trying to pull up side by side with Cornell. Quite doing. Now it's going to be the lap guys right ahead of Steve Stoltz taking away his line. As they work their way off of turn number 2, Steve Stoltz going to have to go down to the bottom side of the racetrack. He is going to get around these lap cars because right now they're taking his lane away, shutting down his momentum as they race off of turn number 4. It's still Cornell showing the way as he works underneath Jerry Fincher. Just put Hedgeman 1 lap down. Steve Stoltz going to do the same, get around that 32 machine of Hedgeman. Bruce Duckett, Brad Williams to follow suit off of turn number 2. So now you got John Cornell out front with the lap car. Jerry Fincher in between himself and the 78 machine of Steve Stoltz. Steve Stoltz had a good run going on, but caught the lap traffic at the most inopportune time that last lap and lost a lot of ground to the race leader, John Cornell, in the 28. 10 laps to go here in tonight's main event. It has been a clean and green so far here in tonight's main event. And right now it's all John Cornell out front. Going to have to go a little bit on that middle groove, though, to get around the 77.7 of Michael Harrison as they work the front straightaway. James Webster once again back in the hot pit area. Steve Stoltz works his way around the 29 machine of Jerry Fincher, going all the way up to the top side of the racetrack to get around Fincher. Bruce Duckett tried to get it underneath. The 29 machine couldn't quite make it work off of turn number 2, but Steve Stoltz once again trying to find that momentum on the top side of the racetrack. John Cornell was able to clear the 777 of Michael Harrison. Steve Stoltz going to try to do the same as they work off of turn number 2. Stoltz on the top side, Harrison down low. Stoltz will complete the pass on the lap car of Harrison. Now it's just clear sailing from him and John Cornell as they work their way off of turn number 4. About 3 car lengths separate your top 2 leaders. Great racing action. Here's Brad Williams, just got around Bruce Duckett. Craig Parker, last night's winner, tried to follow suit with Brad Williams. Couldn't quite make it stick on the bottom side of the racetrack off of turn number 2. As Steve Stoltz is coming on the top side of the racetrack to Cornell. Cornell, though, slams the door on him. Just half a car length separates those 2 drivers as they work their way off of turn number 2. It's Cornell down low. Steve Stoltz up top. Drag race down the back straightaway. Steve Stoltz on the top side. Can he make it stick as they race their way off of turn number 4? It will be Stoltz, your new race leader. 5 laps to go this time by. Steve Stoltz just took the race lead away from John Cornell, who led to the first 20 circuits of tonight's main event. And now it's Steve Stoltz trying to fend him off and lead the last 5. Brad Williams right now in the 3rd spot. Rolling John Cornell and Steve Stoltz as well as they work their way off of turn number 4. It's Stoltz, Cornell, Williams, your top 3 down the front straightaway. Bruce Duckett is in 4th. 5th right now is scored Craig Parker. John Cornell now chooses to go up to the top side of the racetrack. Looks like Steve Stoltz might have showed him something up there. See if Cornell can reel back in that 78. He has reeled him in, but can he get by him? Both those drivers using the top side of the racetrack. It's Steve Stoltz leading Cornell by about half a car length off of turn number 2. Brad Williams just 3 car lengths back behind them in 3rd. Off of turn number 4, you got lap car Wesley Hall right in the way of your race leader here. Just 2 laps to go. Steve Stoltz going to go down the bottom side of the racetrack to work his way around the 35 of Wesley Hall. And here comes John Cornell back to the race lead. John Cornell takes the race lead back away from Steve Stoltz, who had to go down low. And now John Cornell has to go up and Wesley Hall. It's not going to work. Here comes Brad Williams. 3 cars stop, break it over with the white flag in the air. Cornell, Williams, or Stoltz? Who's it going to be? Steve Stoltz back to the top side of the racetrack. Cornell going to slam the door on him down the back straightaway. Third turns 3 and 4. 1,